All right, guys, I'm here with James from Against Me. Sir, thank you for taking the time to speak with me. I really appreciate it.
I'm over. I'm out of here. This is over.
My first question is actually my first question for El Jefe from NoFX, and that was all based on consistency and equipment choices. With him, it was always the Mesa and the Telecaster. With you, it's the Bogner and the Gold Top Les Paul. Why did you just find that and go like, this is it?
I don't know. I feel like that Gold Top that I have, it's like the classic story of people like, it's the right combination of wood and electronics. I don't know. I've tried other guitars and I just keep going back to that one. It's my baby.
So do you use that primarily in the studio as well?
I used on the last record. I used that and a 58 reissue Blacktop, actually.
Really?
Which I'll show you in a little bit. But yeah, so mostly I start with that, and then if it's not really fitting the song or whatever, then change it up from there.
Right on. So what's your approach going into the studio when you're working on a record? Do you have like kind of riffs in mind that you kind of want to work out, or is it just from scratch and working your way out?
It's kind of different with every song. Like with the last record, we had songs that we worked on at sound checks throughout the tour and stuff, and the last record was mostly written, the songs that made it on the record, on tour, and then some were collaboration with Cody Bottolato, and there were a couple that just came in the studio, but it was just kind of, coming up with the parts on the fly, really, and just, I don't know, just seeing what fit the song and being open to everyone's ideas and just kind of crafting, parts to go with the feel and mood of the song and stuff. So.
Right on. Now, when you're in the studio,
this is bothering me. I'm sorry. There's a hair on the microphone.
Honestly, the entire time you've been talking, I'm like, how can I stealthily?
How do we address the hair on the microphone?
I'm thinking, can I rotoscope it out in post? Like, what can I do? Thank you. I appreciate
No
that.
problem.
So, amp-wise in the studio, I remember. I think it was maybe after New Wave, you were playing with Diesels a little bit.
Yeah. And oh my God, what an amp.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little much, and
it
was. I only used like the second channel of it, and I was like, I wasn't doing any channel switching with it, and it was just like a lot of overkill. Great amp, just not for me.
Yeah.
But great studio amp. It can do it all, But yeah, we used that on New Wave mostly, just like for a few songs, and it just had the right sound, So it's like, need to get a Diesel. And then the time I had this like giant like 3-head case and had like the Diesel and the Bogner and like a Marshall, and I was like, this is just too much. Like,
have you thought about like maybe moving to an Axe FX unit down the road? No. Tube all the way.
Not even necessarily tube. I don't know. I don't know. It just seems like there's so much more that could go wrong with stuff like that, and like the whole MIDI control thing. Like sometimes it just doesn't work, and what? How do you fix that in the middle of a show? So I'll just stick with the analog style.
Right on. So now on the same note of like coming up and recording all these albums, trying different gear. Is there any particular musicians you watch that kind of inspire your style, or that you really draw on or have drawn on in the past coming up? Because I feel like, and as a fan, I feel like you have a very distinct tone and style in playing. I mean, I'm not blowing smoke, just I do. Like, I can hear.
Well, thank you.
So I'm just kind of wondering where that
Well, you
comes
tell me
from.
what you hear, and I'll tell you if you're wrong.
Okay.
This is right.
Okay,
I'm
I like
flipping
this.
the script.
I like this. I like this. When I hear songs like Violence or Justin Going Back a little bit, or even we'll go with those two.
Okay.
Because those are the ones that just popped into my mind.
Old.
I feel like in a lot of ways, like maybe those parts were recorded following the vocals, and you kind of wanted to harmonize through guitar with those vocals and follow that kind of emotive wave, if you will.
I don't remember that far back, but that's probably accurate. I was probably really high.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I don't know. It's
Okay,
hard to
you know
remember
what?
back
You
to
know what?
recording that. It was so
I have an
long ago.
example for you, a newer
Okay.
example. I was a teenage anarchist.
Yes.
the progression of your lead parts, going higher and higher and becoming more like aggressive and more urgent in the background, I feel really follows the overall tone of the song, and even the lyrics in the song, like that kind of emotion.
Yes, it was adding tension.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Perfect. Yeah. So I'm right.
You're right. You're right.
Score one.
Yeah.
So through that,
Yes.
is there anyone that you listen to that really like kind of inspires you?
Just overall in playing.
Yeah.
I like Mike Campbell a lot.
Yeah.
From the Heartbreakers. I always hate this question because I'm just
sorry.
it's like, I mean, there's a lot of really great guitar players out there. And right now I can't remember any of their names.
We can add it in later.
Yeah.
Just text me and just
Yeah,
be like,
okay.
oh, this guy and this guy.
Yeah, might have to do that.
Okay, I'll ease up on the hard questions. 'Cause I feel like I'm overworking your brain before a show, which is a shitty thing to do.
I don't usually talk to anyone.
Really?
So, yeah, this is good.
I'm honored, honestly. Like, that's wicked. Gear-wise, what have you brought on the road with you?
It hasn't changed in a little while. Switched to the Marshall cabinets a little while back. It's been Bogner Shiva and a Tone Master, Fender Tone Master for a while now.
Right on.
And there's pretty much the same pedals that have been on there. I swapped out one for like the Klon KTR.
I was gonna ask, yeah.
And then that gold guy, Brad made.
What's that? That looks kind of ominous and kind of awesome.
It's gold.
Matches your guitar.
It's true. But yeah, it pretty much stays the same. From tour to tour, there's just every once in a while, like the Afterneath, the Earthquaker thing was thrown on there, just for to make some crazy sounds in between songs and transitions and stuff. And yeah, I don't know.
You like the consistency?
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
And then some of the songs, like we made, Brad made a new patch for the Delicate Petite and Other Things Will Never Be song on the Timeline.
Oh yeah.
To get some of that like swelly delay kind of stuff that goes on in there. And yeah, that kind of does it all. So
Can I just? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Can I just point out that you have an Empress
Yes.
tremolo pedal, and Empress are made in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada.
Look at that!
There
I did
you
not
go.
know that.
Yeah.
That's
Great
I love
pedals.
that tremolo. Yeah, that's the only pedal I have by them, but it is great.
But I just thank you for your time. I
Right
really
on.
appreciate it. It's great speaking
Yeah,
with you.
you too.
All right. Sorry, I got
Are you pumped? All right.
I'm a little. All right. Cool. All right. I'm good. Good. I'm ready to go. All right. I am here with Laura Jane Grace of Against Me.
Hi.
Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me.
Thanks for coming down. Yeah.
No worries. So we're going to talk a little bit about gear.
All right.
What I wanted to start off with talking to you about was your consistency in gear choices over the years. I think of you, I think of either like Vox Matchless or Hiwatt and a Rickenbacker. Now, over the past couple shows, from what I've seen online, you're busting out a Jazzmaster. You had, was it a Coronado you were playing earlier?
I was playing for a Coronado. I mean, I still have the Coronado, and I love it. And it's a Coronado 2. And actually, our most recent record, I used the Coronado on pretty much every song.
Yeah.
I love the way that guitar plays. I've always really liked semi-hollow guitars, specifically having started Against Me on the acoustic guitar. Like semi-hollow gives you the same kind of like resonance, and usually has the same kind of like thing to when you're playing it. You know that I don't know that I like.
Right on.
Yeah.
And are you keeping all these guitars stock for the most part?
Some of them yes, some of them no. I'm not really like that technical. Like when it comes down to it, I don't know how to do a lot of shit as far as like soldering and replacing pickups and everything like that. I just like to play.
Yeah.
But I do have a couple guitars that have been customized for me. Yes.
Right on. So now you segued perfectly for me, because following your Instagram page, I get the impression you're kind of a gear nerd a little bit. I've seen a bookshelf full of pedals.
Well, that's at Mark's house, and those are Mark's pedals. So
Okay.
That's in the studio. Yeah.
So I was curious, because I was like, run a relatively like lean system. I was like, but look at all these pedals.
Right. Well, there's a difference between recording and live. And recording, is the time for you to experiment and try different pedals. And live, I just have my go-to things that I've always used.
Now, amp-wise, in the studio, are you still using the Fender primarily in the studio, along with the box and everything?
Yeah, I have like a Fender Twin Reverb that I've used since our second record. That it's in the artwork for our second record too. That I usually use for recording. That's like it has these huge magnet EV speakers in it. That I don't know. It's I love the way the amps sound, but but at this point it's really not roadworthy. It would just like disintegrate if you were to try to bring it on the road.
Right on. So what you have on tour now, what have you got?
I currently have this beautiful stack of Vox right here. I just got this head the other day. And then I have 2 Rickenbackers and my Nash. What is the model for the Nash, Brad? But they have a different name for it, right? JM63. Yeah, JM63. So it's a Nash JM63. Do you want to see them?
Sure.
Okay, let me grab them.
We're going to see them. This is exciting. Color on that.
So this is my Nash JM63.
That's beautiful.
And I love it. It stays really in tune.
That's awesome. That's all custom? The sunburst or the tobacco burst underneath?
Kind of. I mean, going back to Instagram, I basically saw a picture that Britton from Nash posted of pretty much this exact guitar, and I was like, oh, that's rad. I want one like that. And then he was like, all right, I'll make one. And then Brad and James were like, do this to the neck. Don't do that. It's in the picture. So I just went with it, and I really like it. Let me grab the others.
So now this, I have questions about.
So this is my Rickenbacker 360 Nor, and it's one of 25 that were made. They made 25 basses as well with the same flat back, and it has the checkered binding. And it's confusing because this is really a 330, but they call it a 360 because it has the Ricca sound option. But that's the only way. I mean, that's kind of like, you know, I don't know, putting a CD player in a Civic and calling it an Accord. But, it has the circle inlays and like, I don't know. I love it though. I fucking love Rickenbackers. So yeah, I collect Rickenbackers.
I was gonna ask, what's your collection up to now? Do you know?
Let me see. Off the top of my head, I got this 360. I have the white 360, and then 2 other just plain black 360s. I have my 370 over there, and I have my Bumblebee Yellow 330, and then I have a Colorado, and I have 381. Is the 381 that's the bass shape? Yeah. And then I have the one other that's like the John Lennon one or whatever, but I forget the model number. They need to have catchier names other than numbers. It needs to be like the Rickenbacker Dream Smasher or something like that.
Oh, it's a beautiful guitar.
I'll show you my 370. Yeah. So this is my 370 that I've had since like 2008. It's got a lot. This wasn't relict. That's just from playing. And this was customized by a shop in Philly called Pick of the Ricks, or right outside of Philly. So like they did the special knobs and they did the all black hardware on it. But I love this guitar. This will forever be I want to be buried with this guitar. And then I have customized with the Mastery bridges on the bottom. So
that's great. Jeez.
Love this guitar.
It sounds amazing. I think I saw you on the New Wave tour playing that, if I'm not mistaken.
That was like right around when I got it, yeah. So other than I have like a acoustic Gibson J40 with me that's like my on the bus playing guitar, but those are the guitars I brought with me this tour.
That's awesome. So my last question is, what is your approach when you're going into the studio when you're laying down guitar? Because you've done records where you've produced it, and you've done records you haven't produced, like the Butch Vig records, and going back from like to Crime and Reinventing and all those great albums. Has your approach when you're entering the studio specifically for guitar playing, has that changed at all?
My awareness of tuning has. I was saying the other day I want it written on my tombstone that I hate out-of-tune guitars. So I like to make sure I'm really in tune, and I like to practice and make sure that it sounds real good like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right on. Just for pedals, what are you running? We're a little out of sequence, so forgive me. But
no worries. I have my carbon copy analog delay MXR, and then a Phase 90 MXR, Blackstone, the Black Eye. It's like a clean boost, and then the RS-02 Roland S. Howard pedal, which actually, instead of saying input and output, says Jaguar and twin reverb. So I'm using it technically improperly, but I like that pedal.
Right on. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, my pleasure.
This is a great interview. Thank
Right
you so
on.
much.
Yeah, thanks for coming down.
Cheers.
Bye.
Man, thank you so much.
Yeah, totally.